Hi guys, I'm not here today. I want to get a good report from the sub, so please make sure that you are behaving just like if I was there. You all should have your calculator, and you need to have your math review notebook out, and you need to copy down your math review problems. If you notice, we are finding the volume of a rectangle. This is a review. You guys learned this in 6th grade. You probably reviewed it last year. So I gave you a hint. In 6th grade, you learned volume equals length times width times height. And then 8th grade, you should have learned as area of the base times height. And you find your area of the base by doing length times width. And then once you get that, you times it by height. So I have the formula written here for you. You're going to have 2 minutes to get it written down while the sub takes attendance, and then 2 minutes to solve. So if you can just pause the video in just a second and then set your timer and give them 2 minutes to copy it and then 2 minutes to solve, and then go ahead and hit play on the video in 4 minutes. Even if they're not done, if they did not finish it, they can follow along with me. So go ahead and pause the video and let them start. Okay, so you should have already done your problems. So we're going to go over and we're going to review them. Okay, we are going to solve for our x. So we're going to make a balance point. I'm going to pretend like that 1/2 isn't there. So it wants me to subtract 5 from x. So I'm going to do the opposite. And I'm going to add 5. -5 and a +5 is 0, so it cancels out. 6 plus 5 is 11. And I'm left with 1/2 x over on the left-hand side. I know that a fraction is just division, so it wants me to divide x by 2. So instead of dividing, we're going to do the inverse operation, and we're going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1x. So I'm left with x, and 11 times 2 gives me 22. So your answer that you should have gotten is x equals 22. If you did not get it correct, please get it copied down. Okay, our next one says find the volume of a rectangle. I need to know my area of my base is length times width. So I know that this right here, that's 8 feet, is my height because it's my up and down. So it's the height of the box. So this is my h. So h equals 8. This right here is my width, and it's 3, and this is a congruent side. So that means this is 3. So my length is 6. My width is 3, and my height is 8. So for my area of my base, I'm going to do length times width. So my area of my base is going to be 6 times 3. The area of my base is 18 feet squared, okay, because it's area. I then am going to plug that into volume equals area of my base times height. My area of my base is 18 times my height, which we said was 8, and we end up with 144 feet. And because it's volume, and I have 3 of them, I have 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. It's cubed. I just want to make sure that 18 times 8 is 144. And it is. Okay, so if you did something wrong, please correct it. If you got it right, good job. Remember, area is squared, volume is cubed, so we have to put that to the power of 3. You have 1 minute to get this copied, put away, and you need to have your agenda out and your Chromebook. And then if you can, who's my calculator person, 6th period? It's not Daniel. I don't remember who it is, 6th period. It's Manpreet. I think it's Manpreet. Manpreet can call and get calculators. That would be great. And then go ahead and pause the video until all the calculators are put back. And once everyone has their Chromebook out and their agenda out, then you can unpause the video. Okay, we're period 6. We just did math review and we're going to do dilations of a scale factor. It's a handout. I will start it in class and you should actually have time to finish it so that you don't have any homework. Students will be able to find the scale factor of two dilated figures, and students will be able to dilate a preimage giving a scale factor. So that is my goal for today after you finish this handout. And your homework is whatever we don't finish on the handout. Okay, you're going to go, you have a new header. It's dilations. I know we're supposed to finish the test today, but I'm not there, so we'll finish the test tomorrow. So we're going to start the next section, which is dilations. And our handout is dilations and scale factors. So in Google Classroom, please click on it. And once you click on it, you're going to get your handout that looks like this. So dilations and scale factors, guided notes. We're going to figure out what a dilation and scale factor is and how to find a scale factor. Okay, so please pause the video until everyone has this open. Walk around and make sure they all have it open on their computer. And then when you're ready, hit play. Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to use red so you guys can see. A scale factor is a dilation between the corresponding parts of similar figures. The ratio can be found by multiplying a corresponding new and original side length. So we find scale factor by doing new divided by original, but we're not going to put new and original. We're going to put image over pre-image. So remember, our original, we know it as pre-image, and the new figure, we know it as image. And when we do that, we get our scale factor. So we always want to write an image over pre-image. So what is a dilation? A dilation is a transformation that produces a similar figure by multiplying by the scale factor. The new image will have the same shape and congruent angles, but will be smaller or larger, depending on what the scale factor is. The new and original figures will have proportional sides. Hopefully you remember what proportional means. But when we start doing it, I'll explain it. Okay, a reduction. So when we talk about reduction, it's a dilation where the scale factor is less than 1, and the new figure will be smaller. So on a reduction, the scale factor, the number you multiply, will be less than 1. It'll be a fraction. And that will give us the image will be smaller than the pre-image. For an enlargement, a dilation where the scale factor is more than 1, and the new figure will be larger than the original. So our image will be larger than our pre-image. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and make sure that everyone gets all these notes taken down before they start the actual problems. Okay. We should be ready to look at our very first problem. So it says, find the scale factor that was used to dilate figure 1 to create figure 2. So I'm creating figure 2. So that means I had to have figure 1 first in order to create figure 2. So this is my pre-image. Figure 1 is my pre-image. And figure 2 is my image because it's after the dilation. It was created from figure 1. Okay, so remember we're going to do image over pre-image. So my image, it gives me side lengths of 8 centimeters. So I'm going to put 8, and that congruent side is 4. So now I'm going to simplify this. I know that 4 can go into both of these numbers. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So my scale factor is a scale factor of 2. Now I have to ask, is 2 less than 1 or is 2 more than 1? Well, 2 is more than 1. If it's more than 1, it's an enlargement, and that is what happened. It started off small and it got larger. Okay, before we move to problem 2, pause the video and make sure that all the students have this filled out. Okay, we're going to come over here to problem 2. It says find the scale factor that was used to dilate circle X to create circle Y. So X has to be my pre-image because I had it first. I used it to create circle Y, which is my image. We're going to write image over pre-image, and I want you to write image over pre-image. You can actually type it if you want. So my image is 1.5 and my pre-image is 2. Now I'm not sure if 1.5 can go into 2. So I'm going to say 2 divided by 1.5, and it gives me a decimal. But I know that 0.5 can. So if I divide this by 0.5, and I divide this by 0.5, if I'm thinking of money, $1.50, there's 50 cents. How many 50 cents are in $1.50? Well, 1.5 divided by 0.5 gives me 3. And how many 50 cents are in $2? Well, there's 2 50 cents in $1, so that'd be 4. So my scale factor is 3/4. Is 3/4 greater than 1 or less than 1? Well, if I have 3/4 of $1, I don't have the whole dollar. I only have 3 of the 4 pieces I need for $1. So that means it's less than. And if it's less than, it's going to be a reduction. Again, go ahead and pause and give them time to get this written down. Okay, let's look at problem 5. You're still going to do problems 3, 4, and 6, but I want you to, in order to do 6, you have to know how to do 5, and 5 is a little bit different. We're going to go backwards. Okay, so it says figure A is dilated by a scale factor of 3. So they told me what my scale factor is. My scale factor is 3. What are the dimensions of the new figure? It only gave me one figure. So if I'm going to multiply, so if I come back up here, it told me a dilation is a transformation that produces a similar figure by multiplying by the scale factor. If I'm going to multiply by 3, that's greater than 1. So I know that this figure is going to get larger. So I'm going to create figure B. And figure B has to be larger, right? So I'm going to take my same sides. I'm going to erase my scale factor of 3. And I'm going to put it inside my box. So I'm going to put SF equals 3. So I know that this long side of my rectangle, it's the longest side, so it's going to be over here. So I'm going to go 7. Figure A side is 7. And then I'm going to times it by my scale factor of 3. 7 times 3 is 21. I'm then going to do the same thing for this side. So my shorter side is 3.5. So I'm going to go 3.5 times 3. And if I do 3.5 times 3, I end up with 10.5. And this is feet. And this is feet. Okay, so now it says, what are my new dimensions? My new dimensions are 21 feet by 10.5 feet. And was it an enlargement or a reduction? Well, I went from 7 to 21, so it's an enlargement. Okay, we're going to do one more together, and then you guys are going to do 4 and 6 on your own. You'll do 4 and 6 on your own. Okay, this one looks a little bit different. It doesn't tell me which one's my pre-image and which one's my image. So it says find the scale factor that was used in the dilation below. But it does have something to show me. So if I come over here and I highlight this as K, and I highlight this one as K prime, because of this prime, I know which one's my image and which one's my pre-image. Remember that prime is my after. It's after I've done my transformation, so it's my image. So the one without the prime mark is my pre-image. Remember that we're going to do image over pre-image. And we need to make sure, I have 2 numbers here, so I need to make sure I do the right ones. So this is for, let me change this color. This is for side KL, it's 12. But side in M is 16. Why is it not changing colors? There we go. So N prime, M prime is here. And then K prime, L prime is here. So I want to make sure I do the right congruencies. Not congruencies, sorry, similar sides. So I'm going to do KL and K prime, L prime. So K prime, L prime first is 4.8 because that's my image. And then my pre-image is 12. So now I need to see if I can simplify this. So I'm going to start by seeing if I can divide 12 by 4.8. And I actually can. So if I divide both sides by 4.8, I end up with 1 because 4.8 divided by 4.8 is 1. And then 12 divided by 4.8 is 2.5. Okay, but I'm not sure what that scale factor is. So I'm going to go 1 divided by 2.5 because remember, fraction bar is just division. And I end up with 4/10. So I can write 4/10 as a fraction, 4 over 10. I can simplify that by 2/2 and I get 2/5. My scale factor is 2/5. Is 2/5 greater than or less than 1 whole? It's less than 1 whole, so that means it's a reduction. Okay, you have 2 more that you need to do. You need to do 4 and 6. Please pause the video, give them time to do 4 and 6, and then about 5-6 minutes before, well actually this class needs to clean up because it's the last of the day. So like 10 minutes before, unpause the video so they can check their work to see if they did it right. If they finish early, they can finish Mathia if they didn't finish Mathia that's due on Wednesday. Okay, let's check 4 and 6. It's going to be image over pre-image. I have A prime over B prime, so that's my image. I know because of the prime marks. And my pre-image is A and B, which is 6. 9/6 can be simplified by 3/3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 2 is 6. So it's a scale factor of 3/2. The 3 is bigger than my 2. Over here, my 2 is not bigger than my 5, so it's a fraction. But this can actually be a mixed number, 1 whole and 1/2. We're going to keep it as our scale factor is 3/2, but I wanted to show you that it's bigger than 1. So it's an enlargement. Okay, if you got it wrong, please make corrections. Okay, and let's look at problem 6. Problem 6 says figure B is dilated by a scale factor of 1/2. What are the dimensions of the new figure? 1/2 is less than 1, so that means that I know that my square is going to be smaller. Okay, I also know that it's by 1/2. So I'm going to do 4 times 1/2 and 5 times 1/2. 4 times 1/2 is 4 over 2 because I put my 4 over 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. That can be simplified by 2/2, which gives me 2 over 1. So that means that one side is 2 inches. 5 times 1/2, I'm going to put my 5 over 1. I get 5 over 2. 2 goes into 5, 2.5 times. So that's inches. So now I have a 2 inches by 2.5 inches. So I went from 4 to 2, 5 to 2.5, so it's a reduction. Hopefully you got them correct. If you didn't, then please correct them now and hit submit and turn it in, and I will see you guys tomorrow.